So I'm on a hiking trail when these two filthy hippies walk by, variations on a theme. They both got long hair, goatees, tie-dye shirts, and Birkenstocks, both of them reeking of cheap body spray and expensive weed. Now, it's common courtesy to greet hikers that are going in the opposite direction on a hiking trail, but these guys don't return a greeting. Instead, you say hi to them, they smile, and they hand over a card on which they have handwritten the following message. Quote, "We are observing silence today in a global effort to bring about world peace. Goddess bless." End quote. God, just thinking back on it, I want to smack the motherfuckers. But I guess not both the motherfuckers, just the one that was me. Yeah, the year was 2003. I was 27 years old, and I had just quit a relatively well-paying job to spend a few months wandering around in the woods and trying to commune with nature. Whatever the fuck that means. So during this wildly self-indulgent hiatus, the friend that I'd roped into joining me told me about this silence thing. Supposedly hippies all over the world were doing it. There was this one particular day, and they were all going to refrain from talking from sunrise to noon. But it wasn't just not talking. There was also imagination. So instead of talking, we were supposed to spend that time visualizing a world without conflict. The idea being that so many people all visualizing world peace at the same time could help bring it about. Now, as you may have noticed, it didn't work because it was fucking stupid. Because, in fact, what we were doing was literally nothing. Worse, we were convincing ourselves that by doing nothing in just the right way, we'd accomplished something, thus alleviating any misgivings we might have had about our inaction. And, of course, as this memory struck me the other day, I imagined myself, my 49-year-old self, walking the other way on that very same trail, and how I would react to my 27-year-old self if I'd been in the position of any of those poor hikers we'd given our stupid fucking card to. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could refrain from saying, well, that's fucking dumb if I wanted to, but I don't know that I'd want to. At the very least, I'd need somebody to hold my eyeball still if I didn't want him to roll. But in all reality, what I'd probably do is I would go, oh, in exactly that tone of voice, right? I wouldn't say fuck off directly, but I'd say it with my tone. I would ensure that they would walk away knowing that I thought what they were doing was silly and useless and that they should be embarrassed by it, which, to be fair, is what most of the people we handed our card to did. Now, there's a part of me that wants this diatribe to veer off into but if somebody had taken the time to really engage me direction. Right? There's a part of me that wants to believe that the right skeptic intervening at the right moment with the right words could have rescued me from years and years of woo and bullshit. And to be fair, they probably could have. But so could the people derisively looking at my stupid fucking card and saying, oh, in a tone specifically calibrated to dismiss the idiocy of my misguided nonsense. And in fact, they did. It was ultimately this repeated feeling of smart people looking down on me that pushed me away from woo, a fact that I try to emphasize every time people pretend that making fun of magical thinking can't change minds. So no, this diatribe is not about how we should have more patience with idiot hippies that amble up to us on hiking trails and tell us they're going to fix the fucking world with their imaginations. I know that I won't, so I can't ask you to. Instead, this diatribe is about how we should have more patience with our former selves. I'm going to AACon this weekend, and while I'm there, I'm going to meet a lot of people that grew up Christian and then redoubled their commitment to Christ in their early adulthood and argued with their secular relations and went on missions and studied apologetics and only slowly came to realize the extent to which they'd been lied to. I'm going to meet people who did and defended terrible shit in the name of Jesus. And I'm going to meet former hippies that thought they could end war by not returning salutations for a fucking morning. And what's going to unite all of those people, other than the atheism, is the shame. The abject embarrassment that we feel when we look back at our ignorance. It's the intellectual equivalent of seeing a photo of yourself in those dumbass baggy jeans we all wore in the 90s. And I am far from immune to this show. When I started writing this diatribe, at first I was too embarrassed to be fully honest about what the fucking note we were handing out said. My subconscious mind kept trying to edit the memory a little bit to make it seem less silly. And even when I finally forced myself to recreate it verbatim, I still kept wanting to stick in a paragraph somewhere about how I didn't really believe that we could end war with our minds. I was looking at my past self and trying my damnedest not to see him. But to appreciate who we are, we need to confront who we were. What's more, we need to embrace it. And not just because beating up on your former self leaves your present self with scars. It's also because we need to see ourselves reflected in the people whose minds we're seeking to change if we want to have any notion on how to change them. And if we're not willing to look our former selves straight in the eye, how will we recognize their reflection?